What's going on, everybody? So I'm back today to talk about a new A24 film. No, not something for the A24 archive, although I'm having a blast doing those videos. It's been a lot of fun. But this is a brand new release from A24, and surprisingly enough, it's not a release that was done massively in theaters. This was put on Prime Video, and I think it was released in a couple of cities in like New York and California. Really minimal release, and I'm really disappointed by that because I adored this film. And the movie I'm going to be talking about today is Funny Pages. Funny Pages is directed by Owen Kline, the story of New Jersey's next great comic book artist and biggest dick. A teenage cartoonist rejects the comforts of his suburban life in a misguided quest for the soul. So our lead character, Robert, played by Daniel Zolghadri, is in his teacher's office at the beginning of the movie. And you're not really sure where the setting is, but he's in there practicing his drawing. And he's one of his teachers who teaches art at the school. And he's a senior in high school. He's finishing up his last year of school. And he has a very unique, abstract cartoon style where his images are like super vulgar. He draws a lot of like penises and stuff. His teacher is really impressed by the quality of his work. And you can tell that his teacher has had a career of his own and that he's done a lot in his life. And the teacher was like, "Do you want to draw me for practice?" And he seems kind of off-put at first, but he's like, "Yeah, sure." So the teacher literally gets butt naked, stands up on the table, and has him draw him. Well, all of a sudden he just stops and he's like, I gotta go to work. And so he stops, picks up all of his stuff, and he runs out. So the teacher comes running out after him. He's driving by him in the car, and he's like, "Hey, get in, it's snowing outside, like, just get in the car." And he refuses to get in the car, and a car hits him head on and kills the teacher instantly. And so the movie takes off from that point in the first like 5 minutes to following our lead character who wants to be really independent. He lives at home with his parents who are like, from what we can see, are seemingly wealthy. We're introduced to them. Our lead character, Robert, is breaking into his teacher's house at the beginning of the film to get some of these drawings because the teacher had no family members. He had no one around. So he wants these drawings because they're just going to get thrown away by the police. And he goes in there to break in. He ends up having to go to court for breaking and entering. And his parents are like, "You need to use the lawyer that we brought to you. You need to do this." And he's like, "No, I want to be independent. I'm going to use this attorney that the court provided for me." The film is really about this young kid who wants to make a name for himself in the art world, but he's still kind of a stupid kid who makes bad decisions, and he's kind of an asshole at times. Like, he's not the greatest human being. He has this friend Miles who also draws and who's like such a sweet kid, and he really cares about Robert's drawings and he cares about what he's doing. But anytime he puts out a new comic or does something, Robert's an asshole to him and treats him terribly, calls his work like juvenile, says this teacher that they both really looked up to would have thought that it was terrible. And so you have an interesting character dynamic between the two of them. Well, Robert decides to leave home and he moves into the basement of this really creepy like condo where these two older guys live that are these really sweaty, dingy, gross dudes who he moves in there. They say it's like $300 a month to live in a room that he's sharing with this guy that he's never met before. He gets a job working with the attorney who helped him by typing up accounts of the people who come in that she has to represent so that she can look through their notes later. And upon working there, he meets Wallace, played by Maher, who is there because he's gotten to a violent altercation at a Rite Aid, thinks that the pharmacist is running the pharmacy horribly and that he's doing a terrible job and that he is in the wrong. And while he's there, he realizes that Wallace has worked for Image Comics, which is a comic book company that he's really fond of from his youth. And so he starts asking him for tips and pointers on how to kind of jumpstart his career and if he'll look at his art. And this movie is just kind of a downward spiral into insanity from that point. This movie was produced by the Safdie brothers, which I saw at the beginning. I had no idea originally other than this was an A24 film. And this movie in the third act feels like it has hints of what the Safdies put forward in Uncut Gems and Good Time, as like you're watching this character kind of make bad decision after bad decision and just watching the after effects of it. everyone in their youth wants to be independent and they want to do things for themselves. No one wants to be reliant on their parents for forever. And this movie does a really great job of showing this person who clearly has a passion and drive for the thing that they love and that they want to do, but they're just going about it in the entirely wrong way. They're treating people horribly that are around them. They're not being, kind to other people. They're not looking in the right places for that support. And when he thinks that he stumbled upon this Wallace guy who's going to help him through this, it doesn't work out the way that he wants it to. And it's just a really interesting movie that is super unique and it's hilarious. It's very deadpan funny. It feels almost like a film out of like the early 2000s. Like I've seen a lot of people comparing this to like Ghost World, which, you can get vibes of that in this movie. The thing that makes this movie so fascinating is the time period feels very ambiguous. It seems like it could be set in the 70s or 80s, but there's times where modern technology is introduced, and it's because of just the realism in the filmmaking and how grainy the film looks. It's just really fantastic. It feels like something out of a different era. And I'm kind of disappointed because I wish A24 would have taken the chance on this in the theater. I feel like this movie would have appealed to a very niche audience of people, especially in the comedic world. I was surprised that they'd take a chance on bodies, but not a film like this in the theater. But I really loved this movie. I think that it's very unique. It's hilarious. It's a quick runtime. It's like an hour and 25 minutes, and I had a smile on my face the entire runtime of this film. I made a comment about how this felt like a mild version of like The Greasy Strangler, how everyone's like super sweaty and gross looking. It's obviously not as vulgar as that film is. The Greasy Strangler is super over the top and ridiculous, but I really loved this movie, and if you get a chance to check it out, I would 100% do so. It is such a great time. So if you've seen Funny Pages yet, did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic. It was super fun time. It was really great, and I'm glad A24 is still making these little indie darlings. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. I've got a new series of videos I'm going to be doing on the channel here where I'm taking recommendations from my TikTok and I'm going to be reviewing those on the channel here. My TikTok is at Nate's Film Reviews, just like the YouTube channel, so check it out if you'd like to. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.